Hey YouTube, I'm back again. You might notice things look a little bit different because I've been kicked out of my basement workshop due to some flooding, but nonetheless I got a new aircraft for you today. This is Parkzone's Mini Vapor, and it's really cool. I actually like this one a lot. So let's run over the specs before I get too deep into it. It's got a wingspan of 220 millimeters, and its length, nose to tail, is 298 millimeters. Now the very interesting thing about this too is it is incredibly lightweight, weighs fully loaded 8.6 grams with the battery. Now the battery is incredibly tiny too, as you might guess. It is a little LiPo that comes here with this great charger, and the size of the LiPo is 30 milliamp hours. Yeah, you heard me right, 30 milliamp hours. Let's zoom in on that. So there it is, 30 milliamp hour LiPo. Super tiny, 3.7 volt, one cell. It is the smallest LiPo I think I've ever seen for model aircraft applications. Now, this aircraft at full throttle draws about 300 milliamps total. So it's very efficient. You're looking at flight times maybe around 6 to 6.5 minutes if you're kind of conservative with your throttle. Obviously a little bit less if you're cranking it around pretty hard like I enjoy doing. So I went ahead and bound this up to my DX8 because it is offered as a bind and fly model. And I noticed something very interesting, and I'll show you this when I power up the aircraft. Right in the corner of my DX8, that little telemetry indicator came on. And I'm like, wait a second. This little aircraft has telemetry? So I scrolled over to my telemetry window, and look at that. You have radio status telemetry. It shows both frames and holds built into this really tiny brick on the Parkzone Mini Vapor. So I am incredibly impressed with the receiver technology in a little tiny airplane like this. So, you know, if you ever plan to do FPV on it, that would be kind of a cool thing to measure, especially if you're checking for checking your range or whatever. I'm not sure if there's anything really important that I can do with frame and hold telemetry, but that does seem to be native to any model with DSMX. So why don't I stop talking about it and let's go take it out and fly it. I'm not going to fly it indoors because I've got so much equipment laying around, but there is 3 or 4 miles an hour of wind outside, so why don't I show you how this 8-gram airplane flies in some decent wind. So surprisingly, due to its incredibly light weight, the Mini Vapor is also extremely maneuverable. You can see here I'm flying it outside. Wind is, I'd say, 2 or 3 miles an hour. Not incredibly powerful, but definitely a lot for a little 8-gram plane to deal with. It's also very agile if you step the control surfaces up to the second position, little second hole on the control horn. Gives you a lot more travel on the rudder and the elevator, and allows for some more aggressive aerobatic maneuvers. You can also pretty much get to be able to hover the thing like that because the thrust ratio is just barely 1-to-1. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with this aircraft. You can get it to fly really nice and slow also if you want it to. And just tool it around for a while. My maximum recorded flight time was about 6 minutes in a windless indoor environment without doing any of these, you know, crazy maneuvers.